6:15, I will call the March 24th meeting of the Finance Audit meeting together and, or to order, excuse me. So I'll start off with the consent agenda. I've got it printed out. All right, this meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance request. If you'd like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the Title VI Non-Discrimination Protections and the State Non-Discrimination Protections is posted in this meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary. Thank you. All right, Mary, how about a roll call vote? Or I'm sorry, call to order the attendees.
Yes, the roll call. Christine Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Coletta. Great.
Here.
And Stephen Santasonio.
Here, present.
And that is a quorum. I did want to explain that Sandra Wright had messaged me this morning and said she ran into a conflict.
Okay, great. All right, very good. All right, so Mary sent everything out to us already. Do we have a motion to accept the February meeting minutes and the January 2026 financials on the consent agenda?
So I'll make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all right.
Stephen
okay, thank you. So we've got a motion and a second. Okay. Mary, could you do roll call vote on the consent agenda?
Yes, Christine Joy.
Accept.
Becky Coletta.
Accept.
Stephen Santasonio.
Accept.
Great, thank you all. Okay, how about turning things over to Brenda for the February 2026 financials?
Okay. Profit and loss, which is on our page 1 for OCPC. The full P&L shows income total of $2,600,002, $637.64. I messed up that number. Expense total on the following page is $3,119,245.54, of which $1,151,957.04 is passed through, which is shown on page 3. Net income, which is income less expense, is a negative $516,607.90. Profit and loss ROM on page 4. Full P&L detail shows an income total of $56,300, expense total of $75,774. Net income equals negative $19,474.89. Next up is AAA outstanding balances report on page 5. Outstanding pass-through funds was $316,795.24. The outstanding admin and ombudsman funds were $90,683.69. Total outstanding AAA balance is $407,478.93. The Volunteer Transportation Program received $426.72 in donations for a total balance in the VTP account of $165,114.16. Page 6, budgeted expenses. First of all, I just want to point out that the top date at the very top, Megan, shows last year's fiscal dates. I have forgotten to change that. I will have that changed for next month. I'm sorry. That should say July 2025 through June 2026. Okay, first column shows FY26 expense budget, which is combined OCPC and ROM. February total expenses were a total of $2,043,063, leaving remaining funds at $1,258,062. Current expenses plus remaining balance as of February 28th is a total of $3,301,125. The ideal percentage in the 8th month of the fiscal year would be 66.72%. February shows expenditures at 61.89%. which is a 4.83% or $400,764 surplus in budgeted income over expenses. Budgeted income, page 7. Columns show the FY26 totals that are expected. At February 28th, we have a projected annual income of $3,701,889. Pass-through funds on page 8. Top area shows AAA pass-through budget of $1,531,618. $1,086,900 has been spent, leaving a remaining balance of $444,718. That's for the AAA pass-through. Bottom area shows contractor pass-through funds, which are identified by the grant name and the name of the contractor paid. The cumulative total of which is $69,989.98. All pass-through expenses are billed directly to the relative grant for 100% reimbursement to us. Okay, finances at a glance, fiscal reserves. Monthly payroll is running at approximately $173,000. Monthly indirect accounts payable is running approximately $63,381. That's combined OCPC and ROM for a total of $236,381. The cash available bank accounts number 1 through 7, which are within the red bracket on this page, show a total of $1,760,877. Minus the reserved funds, which are within the yellow bracket on the page, the reserved funds show a total of, I'm sorry, I lost my place. The reserved funds total $399,455. These funds are reserved for specific uses only, such as advance payments from grants and the volunteer transportation reserved account funds. Bank account total minus reserved funds equals the total funds available at the end of February, which is $1,361,422. Total accounts receivables at the end of February was $442,222. ROM specific details. ROM current bank balance is $120,211. The Rockland Trust building loan principal balance after the February payment was $261,158. The monthly rental revenue is still $5,850, which is rent to ROM from OCPC for the building. OPEB account balance at the end of February 2026 is $1,569,519. And that is the end of the financial report for February. Does anyone have any questions?
Whoever muted me, thank you so much.
Christine.
Christine, just for ease, don't worry about it, because
please do that again, because I know how to unmute. I don't know how to mute. So do we have a motion to accept the February 2026 financials as presented by Brenda? And then we'll bring them to the full council tomorrow for approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Becky. Can we do roll call vote, Mary?
Christine Joy.
Accept.
Becky Coletta.
Accept.
Stephen Centosonio.
Accept.
And
Great,
Madam
thank
Chair,
you.
Madam Chair, if I could just weigh in, we are working on a potential short-term rental for the back room starting in May, going through August. So we will see a little bit of some income. So we're working on that.
Great, excellent. Stephen or Becky, if either one of you could present that to the meeting tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. That would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
About the financials.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, number 4, the OPEB update. Sean, can you take the wheel? And feel free to mute me.
Is Sean here?
Yep.
Sean, you're muted. Speaking of which.
Yeah.
As I rolled through everything, yes, I apologize. So we did see an overall gain of the investment of about a little over $29,000, 29,114.42. We made our monthly contribution of 50,000, had management expenses of $432.72, which gave us a net increase for the month of 33,682, 2.19% above the previous month. So it continues to move right along. Total growth in the fund over the last 15 months has been pretty significant. So some $439,950. So again, at this point, hard to criticize our decision to move. I don't know whether we would have seen these positive gains, but certainly we weren't seeing that type of increases before we did move. It will be interesting to see what next month's statement brings. There's been certainly a lot more volatility in the market over the last couple of weeks, but we shall, like I said, we'll report on it when it's done.
There was no action that's required on this, but thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Sean, do you want to continue with the GIC payments for retirees and survivors?
Yep. So,
thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Megan. And thank you, Christine. So this is more kind of for informational purposes for the members of the Finance Committee. We had identified last month, they've obviously been there before, but it kind of has come to the front with, as we begin to take a look at it. You'll see it in the next couple of segments where we're planning about the possibility of sick time payouts for retirees, et cetera. So we started taking a look at everything. And so we wanted to put some numbers to this cost. This would be what OPEB would be paying for if it were fully funded. So we currently have 6 retirees and their families who carry basic life insurance and Medicare Part B coverage policies. Cost for this OCP is $3,763.29 per month. We have 1 retiree survivor family who has coverage for non-Medicare coverage. So this would be the traditional healthcare coverage that our active employees carry. Cost for this OCP is $2,640 a month, or approximate, almost close to half of what we pay for the other 6 retirees. Total cost for the year is $76,843.80. We are currently not using OPEB funds to pay these costs, and we don't recommend doing so now. Taking distributions will only slow that process of getting the trust funded as soon as possible. We currently contribute a total of $60,000 on an annual basis. And one thing to note is for instance, the retiree survivor cost, when they were an active employee, we paid 75% of that premium anyway. We now pay 100%, so that additional 25% contribution really costs us just shy of $8,000 a year. So at this point, like I said, it just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of how much the retirees and survivors cost the organization. We have expressed, I believe at last month's meeting, we spoke about, our possible options from a legal standpoint of charging these folks or coming back with some sort of a premium for them. And we, at this time, do not, the OPEB committee does not recommend doing that at this point.
So if I could, Sean, thank you. I think really helpful. Just on top of that, I think it was also the so OPEB committee is one thing, and then it's also OCPC fringe benefits. And so what I had asked both Brenda and Sean, and when Charlie and I met, we had this discussion about, well, what is that number? I really didn't know what it is. I used to get hard copies and I'd see it come in. Now everything is online. So Sean and Brenda are really the numbers. And so, as Sean indicated, and Charlie, Brenda, and I were talking about this, is that we're not recommending to make changes, but it's a number, and a number for, as many of our area communities are seeing higher cost as it relates to healthcare. That's private business, that's public. And this analysis that Sean put together I think just provide a snapshot of the total budget as we'll go through the FY27 budget in a little bit. So,
Can I ask a question? What is and
Thank
then when
you.
it says families, is that spouse or spouse and children maybe under 18 or what? I'm just curious.
So the retirees,
Good.
where you see basic life insurance and Medicare Part B coverage, those are the retiree themselves and a spouse. The retiree survivor family has a spouse that is not eligible for Medicare at this time and children under the age of 26. So they
Okay.
are carrying a full family plan.
All right. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
So no action is required at this,
Mhm.
but this is more for informational purposes.
Thank
Any other
you,
questions?
Sean. A really interesting information, and I'm glad that you gave it to us so we can kind of start to monitor this, and it may come to a point that we do need to start looking at partial premiums. But good to know at this point in time, this is something that we'll just keep on the radar.
Yep.
All right, so back to Brenda with the preliminary FY 2027 budget, please.
Okay, so, okay, good. This is the one that has all three. So, can you just raise it up a little bit? Thank you, Megan. Okay, so this shows FY27 final budget. The FY25 final budget. I'm sorry, Megan, can you go up a little bit? I can't see what year I'm talking about. Okay, it shows the FY25 final expenses, the FY26 projected because we haven't finished FY26 yet, and then the FY27 projected budget expenses. And you'll see if you go straight across that things are not changing, have not changed in the projection significantly between this year and next and what we're projecting for FY27. Those numbers, of course, are not finalized yet. The usual increases, all of the things having to deal with salaries because of merit increases. But we've had some people with large salaries leave where we've brought other people in. But I think we ended up losing a little bit of the salary expenses with those changes, which is a good thing for our budget. So everything attached to the payroll is going to increase a little bit because it increases annually. Let me see what else. And then everything else is just a basic increases because of cost of living, the percentages change, and things such as that. And until we have the final numbers for FY26, I won't drop in what will be a closer projected budget for FY27. Does anybody have any questions about anything here?
I'm just going to wait in so this is just the draft. This is just the draft FY27
Yes.
budget.
FY27
you're going to see another
yes.
in April. So it's just to
Yes,
give
I
a
think that
preliminary
everybody knows at this
overview.
point. Yeah. Oh,
of the-
I think everyone knows at this point that that the budget numbers, the projected budget changes up until the last minute, and then we still move the numbers around a little bit as necessary. So, but yeah, the FY27 is the
Becky?
first draft
Becky.
projected.
So FY26 projected budget expenses is only for 8 months. It doesn't include the full year. I'm not sure why we're not comparing FY26 budget to FY27 budget.
FY26 is not yet completed. Those numbers are still in the projected mode because we're not at the end of June yet.
Right, but are they projected based on what we expect the full month will be spent? The
Yes.
full year will be spent.
That's
Because I'm
correct.
seeing an fringe benefits. We are only showing 250,000 for 26.
That's because the numbers it has dropped down significantly, and I'm not really sure why. But I project a good bit for fringe benefits because they're and the numbers at this point, we don't have the 4 quarters, the fourth quarter, which is the large bills. So wait just a second, let me look down. So yeah, it's just a projected number because generally speaking, I mean, when you look at 2025, it's 412,000. but right now projected at 250,000 because it's been running lower than it normally does, but that's probably because we haven't gotten the fourth quarter large bills yet. So I'm sure that at the end of the day, that number's going to change.
Okay, so it's only
Gonna go up.
projected based on what we've spent so far. It's not looking at
Right.
sort of what we've budgeted or
That's
projected
correct.
for the year.
No, it's a budget. It's the
That's
budget for
correct.
the full year. It's the budget for the full year, Becky. It is
Yeah,
not
but-
projected for just 8 months. It's not.
But Brenda, what the numbers that are in there are for the 8 months up to what you have. So we have the budget that was approved by the board, but this is what's been spent. That's what I think Becky was getting to,
If I could
right?
jump in here
I
for
mean,
just a sec.
when we look,
I want to look at the expense budget, at the expenses.
If I could jump in for just a sec, one of the things that Brenda's talking about is the fact that when she says we haven't gotten the fourth quarter bills, we're going to receive a bill from GIC. We'll receive 3 bills from GIC very shortly, which will total when all is said and done, somewhere around $125,000. Which would bump this number up to 375. Those
Okay.
numbers, those bills have not come in yet, so they may not be part of her projection.
Okay, Becky, you are absolutely correct. That 251,000 that's the expense number at the moment, at the end of February. I apologize. The budgeted number for FY 26 should be 415,000. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's been that kind of
that's
a
what
month.
I think,
All right, but that makes
I think
sense.
what-
I
that's
just
what- I
want to
think
know what
what-
we're looking at.
yeah, and I think that's what we want board members to be looking at these numbers. It's not just for us to throw them at you and automatically. So that is right.
See,
see that
normally
much of a
on the
difference.
regular budget, there's a number in the middle that shows the total budget amount, and then it's sort of calculating itself downward as the numbers hit. And for some reason, I grabbed the number for the end of the month in February instead of the full budgeted annual amount. So Becky's right. It would be much more.
It's all
That
right.
should be
That's why
415.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what we're looking at. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, and I think that really is about it. Again, if anybody has any questions about anything else on here, I think that was the only
So
place
I
where.
think the only other piece that I would add is that we have waiting from the federal government the approval of our NICRA, our overhead rate, and what was calculated, what was submitted is a higher rate, which I just we'll bring that in. We should be having that ready by April. But those are the things that's why it's still a
Hopefully they'll have it
draft.
back by then, yeah.
That's right, but Brenda's right. Hopefully we'll have it back by April. But again, that's it. We want to keep you informed as those things come along. So, and as we talked about in previous conversation, the cost of healthcare. So that's all embedded into this budget. And I believe that there was no action on this. This is just being presented, if I'm correct, because we still have some work to do on it.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Brenda, for that explanation. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of change in between now and when we actually see the final budget. Our next item is an action item. Not sure who's going to be speaking to it.
I will begin on this, and then we'll have others. So as we talked about at the February finance meeting, there was a whole discussion about that and to prepare for our future. And since we're planners, one of the things we need to do is plan fiscally as well. And as we have retirements coming, or as people are, again, happy 30th year to Charlie. But we have other employees who are reaching that. And in our bylaws, in the handbook, we make some accommodations about anybody that reaches 25 years of service and they retire from CPC. They would be eligible for a payout of the accrued sick time, and not over a number of years, but what is left on the table after the year. Charlie, Brenda, and I had a conversation about this, and that not only do we really think we want to be able to be planning just for sick time, but there's a payout of unused vacation time. Now, again, the council made some great changes, revisions from, Stephen and the personnel committee about putting a cap so our liability isn't out there. And so we would like an action of creating a reserve account for future, not only sick, and I would call it paid time off for eligible retirees. And internally, we talked about that we would put this into a existing money market, where we would have a reserve account under that. And I believe that we were talking in the amount of like $2,000 a month, calculating unpaid, unused sick time, and the potential of some vacation time. That $200,000 is a good benchmark that we would like to achieve, and put it into the highest yielding account that we have.
Mary, to me, this sounds great. This is something we've been talking about for a while and figuring out a way to deal with this unfunded liability that, can come unexpectedly. So to me, this sounds like a really good idea to get this moving, but I'd love to hear what Becky and Stephen think.
I agree. It's better to plan and have it ready when the time comes than have a scramble when, if you get caught, flat-footed, like with an unexpected retirement. So I'm all for it. So I have no problem with it.
So one of the things that I did ask Brenda, I said, can we afford this? Because that would be a good question. And she did answer, as you saw in the budget, the surplus at this point is the 4.8. And I will tell you that with that assurances and looking at our numbers, still feel very confident. So a vote to approve would be terrific. And we will, when we put that into a money market, we will continue to keep, it will be reported out. Know how Brenda did that one sheeter? It will be another item because it will be a reserve account, and we'll keep you posted on that.
Make that motion to accept.
Becky,
I'll second.
okay, and
I think
Becky,
it's
you're
a
okay
great-
with this?
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so we've got a motion from Stephen. Do we have a second?
Becky
Oh,
did.
I'll
second.
second.
I forget that it's just us.
Okay.
Oh.
No, just the
On
three of us.
motion,
It's a very
Christine
small
Joy.
group today.
Christine Joy.
I approve. Yep,
Becky Coletta,
Yeah.
approve.
Yes.
Stephen Santasonia.
Approve.
Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, so on to the recommendation on an existing CD renewal.
I'm going to let Brenda take this one. She did a lot of work on this. So go ahead.
Okay.
And Sean and Megan did as well. So thank you.
Okay, so you can see here that we did a comparison between Rockland Bank, Eastern Bank, and Northeast Savings Bank to stay with local banks, and the best rate happens to be at Northeast Savings Bank. They have a 9-month special right now at the 3.75 interest and the 3.69 APY. It only, it only needs $500 to open that one. Now we have an existing money CD in that bank already, which is the one we're going to be renewing. I don't know if we have to change it to the 9-month special or how that works, but recommendation is to just leave it in Northeast Savings Bank because they have the best rate.
Any questions for Brenda?
No, but I'm going to abstain because my husband works for Eastern Bank.
Okay,
That's where my accounts
all
are.
right.
Yay.
So this will just be you and I, Stephen. So I'll make a motion that we leave the existing or the CD at Northeastern Bank.
I'll second that.
Roll
All right,
call.
and that's the correct bank,
Christine
right?
Joy.
Yes, Northeastern Savings.
It
Yes.
is Northeastern
Yes,
Saving.
Northeastern. Okay. Okay,
on
so
the
yes
budget-
for me.
Great. Stephen Santasonia
Accept.
and Becky, I'm going to need you to say thank you.
Abstain.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. All right,
So,
Mary, status of state rate retirement.
I am. So this thing has it's like a moving target. So as you know, once a month we have the regional planning agencies meet. Just as this thing I thought was kind of dead, it's back up, but it's moving in a direction that it sounds like the state treasurer wants her bill to move forward. So I think it's been presented before. This is where they will forgive the regional planning agencies for paying anything that was owed over the past 15 years. But they're looking to have us be contributing going forward. Every time this happens, I asked Brenda to put together a spreadsheet about what it would cost to, 0, 1, 2, 3%. She prepared that for me today. I honestly don't think the legislation is going to go forward. I don't think the votes are there for either one for the treasurer, but as many of you know, including Becky at the Hill, anything can happen with a sway of support. So, again, we could not afford a 6% contribution. I think anywhere between a 3 or 4%, max 4% could be something that we could afford. Ultimately the cost would be a staff person. And at this point we are moving, one of the things I know these numbers all too well, but I take with pride the strides this organization has made, the staff, the Paul Omano working with Brenda and Sean in terms of finding funds and making sure things are running well. And I mean, it's amazing. So status of the retirement is it's still a moving target. We have numbers prepared. And I guess for our April meeting, I'll have those numbers be presented as if this legislation happens, this is the cost to us. And I'll at least have that be in front of you. I think it's only just because I saw them today and I didn't really get a chance to delve into them, but I'll share them with you in advance for the next finance meeting.
Thank you, Mary. That sounds great. Mary, do we have anything else that was unanticipated?
No, there's not. I just want to be able to say that for the April meeting, we're going to have a joint meeting of both the OCPC Finance and the OCPC ROM. And while our bylaws doesn't say we can do it or not do it, we're going to do it just because it's important, because it really is two entities, even though it's one audit, but it's two entities. So we're going to call a joint meeting. So the April meeting will still say the same. We're just going to rename it a joint of the OCPC RUM and OCPC Finance.
And just a reminder, I'll be traveling for work, so I don't know if that affects the quorum or not, but I'll be traveling that week, so.
That we will make sure that Sandy and, we'll get an update from Noreen O'Toole as well to see where she may be. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for hobbling through this with me. This has not been the smoothest, but we did accomplish quite a bit. So thank you all very much. And I we'll see you next month. So have a good meeting tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, motion to adjourn.
All right. So
motion to adjourn.
Yeah, and I'll second that. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.